Hi listeners, this is Deborah from Mystic Wolf SOULCRAFTS, and I'm here today with Mena from Honing Your Reality. Welcome everyone to Mystical Tea Time, where we drink tea and talk about all things ascension and spirituality. Today we're going to be talking about social media and how it is related to spirituality and our energy. For those of you who know me, welcome back, and for those of you who are new, my name is Deborah, and I'm a multidimensional channel, healer, intuitive artist, and writer. If you want to stay up to date on all the podcast episodes, make sure to go to anchor.fm/mysticalteatime, and there you will find all available podcast links such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more, or listen by subscribing on YouTube. Now, this is the longest episode I've ever done, and it's kind of chaotic. My kids are playing in the background, so you'll hear them here and there, but that is the part, that's what I'm talking about too in this episode, social media. Podcasting is a part of social media, and what I'm trying to do here, and what to me is spiritual and in alignment, is be authentic. I'm trying to share my message, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not a perfect podcast recording in a professional studio, but I'm trying to give you my authentic message here. And it's Sunday morning, I'm in my pajamas. It is what it is, and I know that you will get the message from it that you need to hear. And yeah, so here we go. This is my conversation with Mena. Enjoy. Okay, we're gonna be talking about social media and spirituality. Yay. This is super interesting, and I'm not at all prepared. You're super prepared, and I'm not prepared because I'm just like, let's just see what, oops, the baby's crying.
No.
This is all part of life. Okay, let's just get started. Social media. We all love social media, but we also all hate social media. We have a strange relationship with social media. If you're listening to this, this is a form of social media. This is going to be on the podcast channel. It's going to be on YouTube. It's still kind of social media, I think.
Yes, it is. I would say that podcasting is social media, especially if it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is getting so social media-esque that it's surprising to me. But I guess nothing is really surprising.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because people start posting pictures there, and like now you can basically leave messages there and pictures, kind of like Facebook, like a Facebook news feed. Yeah.
I noticed that, people can leave comments, like they're posting like actual text comments, like long, so that was surprising too. That's new. And then they have those video clips that are running at the top. And,
like the stories, basically.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I was off of social media for a little bit anyways, between 2018 and the beginning of 2020. Well, I guess it was more the end of 2019. I started, like, posting on my personal page, you know, just being a little bit more active and trying to have conversations with people again, or just let people know that I was even paying attention, you know?
Yeah.
Like, friends worked with before, or people from my, my childhood. I would like try to make it more of an effort to like their get on there and let them know that I'm thinking of them through liking their posts. And it's funny because I was against it, like against coming back to social media, but then it's just a little too comforting to have something to do when you want your mind to be idle. And I think for me, that's really what I was focusing on, was going to that site. So like when we talk about social media, for me, it's really about the usage of the phone. And whatever you use your phone the most for is what's like keeping you from doing things in your life. So this is just how I experienced it. And I know I sent you that email, like on the 8th. This month, right? Yeah, September. Or no, it's October. How funny. Okay, so I sent you that email because I was already thinking about social media and just how a person can get stuck on the wrong rabbit hole. And if they don't have their eyes wide open while they're going down this rabbit hole, things that are really not positive for society can catch somebody's attention. And I think the more that I research certain things because of the news and all the things that are happening across the globe, but in America and in California, we're having an interesting time right now. Like, I know everyone's having an interesting time, but so I experience what's going on in California because that's where I live. The fires, and there's some riots and all this stuff is happening, and people have a tendency to get on social media, see articles, start Googling things, and knowing that the information that you're seeing is like tailored to you. Nobody really has a problem with knowing that. Like when you hear like, oh yeah, your data's sold, or, there's certain things that you can see with your Google articles, for example. When you go on Google, your articles are exactly what you have been searching for. And if you have even thought of something and you're on your computer and it's linked to your phone, everybody knows this stuff, right? But what they're not thinking about is the unconscious, like, grabbing. That's what I'm going to call it, because I've noticed it myself, and I've noticed it around a lot, people that I actually know, witnessing them with the phone. And we didn't have this phone so many years ago, I kind of was late to the iPhone, so sometimes I don't know if my experience is different or not, but I didn't have a smartphone or access to social media like at my fingertips until like 2011. And I didn't really get on social media, like really, really get on it until maybe like 2016. And when I got on there, it became my unconscious habit. So I pick up my phone and I went to Facebook and I would forget why I was picking up my phone. Like I heard that being said on that one documentary that I had said, oh, you should watch it because it's got like little shreds of evidence here and there of things. Nothing is 100% like the truth when you're looking at a documentary because it's somebody's perspective, just like what I say is my own perspective, and everybody's got their own reason for something, why they want to put something out. Is it just for entertainment? But anyways, the phenomena is repeated in that documentary of like, you put your phone down, you pick it up. So for me, getting off social media is really like getting away from my phone, stopping that unconscious habit of grabbing at my phone for whatever reason I'm doing it. Am I bored? Am I trying to not think about my problems? Like why am I grabbing at my phone? What am I doing? I'm looking for interaction. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't know about you, but like right now it's so noticeable. I'm at the house, I'm with my kids most of the time, I have my partner here. There's just a lot less interaction, a lot less going out into public than I'm used to. And anyway, so I was looking for interaction. I was looking for having, cool conversations with people. And I definitely have found that. What changed for me was wanting to really put my phone down and exit the world of living. It's not outside of myself, but outside of my community, outside of where I could actually create, like we've talked about so many times, like heaven on earth. Where could I actually create heaven on earth? It's like if I was creating it into the 4D, I could create it in the 4D with just my prayer power, and of course connections on. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met so many people that have like positively affected my life. But I have this strong feelings about social media and seeing how really, if you focus on one thing, you're gonna be doing just great. But the whole realm of it is very controlling, and just needing to get away from that and being a little bit more present in my life. And actually, I know I described what it was like for me to quit smoking cigarettes like back in July, where I kept feeling like I was forgetting something. And for the first few days when I hopped off of Facebook, I was turning my phone completely off, so that there was like no reason for me to look at it, no reason for me to go on it. And I kept feeling like there was something missing, like, oh, no, I already cleaned the bathroom, or, I already spent 2 hours, like, writing today. I think that's, like, a lot, so what am I normally doing with my time?
Yeah, then you see how much time you actually spend on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm sorry that I completely interrupted you, but that just reminded me.
Oh, no, that's okay. I've been talking for a long time.
That's good, because it was interesting, but it reminded me, I told you already last year, or about a year and a half ago, when we just moved into this house that we're living in right now. We didn't have internet for about a month. For some reason, I can't remember why, but we were offline completely, no internet on the phone, no Wi-Fi in the house, nothing, for an entire month. And basically I was forced to be offline. So what did I do? I was like, okay, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to freak out about it, because that would be kind of weird, because then I would be, because I was like, okay, if I can't make it through life 1 month without internet, that means I'm internet addicted, so I can't let that happen. So what did I do? I was like, okay, I still have 5 books that I wanted to read, so I started reading books. I was outside in nature more. And I was already trying to be conscious about my phone usage, but it can always be better. You can always do better. And then that month really put a lot of stuff in perspective for me. Like, wow, I do spend a lot of time scrolling, like just scrolling, basically. Mm-hmm. So now I'll have my phone upstairs plugged in the bedroom. And then 5 hours later, and I'll be downstairs just doing like cleaning, doing laundry, being with my kids, and then I'll go upstairs after a few hours and get the phone. And then I won't look at it, because it's I have to go upstairs to get it, and I don't want to be dealing with the stairs, so I'm just not gonna go get my phone for a few hours, or I just turn the Wi-Fi off completely so that I don't get any notifications. I do that too.
Yeah.
Because
I turned off all my notifications, which is like, then you can just say, I'm going to check my phone this many times a day, And the interesting part about leaving social media and wanting to be part of the spiritual movement has been probably one of the biggest challenges for me, because I don't know what drew you to post on social media and to like have a blog or whatever. But for me, it was because I thought that like the writings, my poems, and the things that I was doing should be heard by like as many people as possible, because of the powerful experiences I've had through awakening and through spirituality. And I just wanted to scream it from the rooftops, as out as I could to as many people as I could. And the more dedicated I became to that, the harder it was for me to like step away from my social media, because that was what I was there for. And letting go of that has been sort of like this funny balance of me knowing that I want to create more of a strong community with the people that I live around, with my my family and my close friends. I've been living in the same town for a long time, and a lot of people that I grew up with were all still here and we're all still friends. And I feel like I've been spending a lot of time like doing stuff on the computer, on the phone, talking to people, everywhere except for where I live. And that is something that has really come home for me since we've been in this environment where we have to be home so much. Before, I was driving down to Ventura, working at my dad's gas station, coming back home. I was doing so much stuff, interacting with so many people. And then it's kind of all got shut down, and I'm just here and really focused in on, what actually creating a really deeply spiritual life that shows in everything that I do, and not just what I do with my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, they're experiencing going back to basics, kind of. That's what comes to me right now, going back to basics and trying to slow down, not doing everything at once, trying to do one thing at a time, because that's what these phones do too. They're they're forcing you to multitask. And it's not good to constantly be multitasking, because your brain is going to get fried. You need to consciously make a decision to do one thing at a time. And our higher dimensional selves, this is all just coming to me right now. I'm just going to say it. We're used to being able to manifest right away, to do everything at once, to do 2-3 things all at the same time. And we think something, it happens. We think something, we can do it. Like in these higher realms, we can do all this stuff all at once. But we have to really be present in our bodies. And these phones are kind of pulling us out of our bodies too. They're pulling us up in the higher chakras, and we're not grounded because it's all this information. It's all coming in, and it's all just a lot of information, and also the Wi-Fi constantly. It all messes with your upper chakras, and it's all information, and it all gets stuck in the head. These upper chakras, it's all stuck, and it doesn't flow through. So what I try to do is, I know that when I spend time on the phone, I need to spend equal amounts of time off the phone. And doing stuff like moving my body, playing with my dog. I go into the backyard and I throw a frisbee with my dog, or I cook something. I do dishes, or I play with my kids. I do some laundry, and I put the phone away. It's not right there, right next to my laundry basket with notifications popping up. It's gone. It's just out of my sight. Mm-hmm. And then after an hour or two, I go back to the phone. I see, did anyone need me for something? And I text them back, and the phone goes away again. And it's the same about Facebook. I've put myself on a Facebook light diet, basically. But I'll talk about that a little more later. But I do still love Instagram, but I try to be conscious about my Instagram usage. I'm not just constantly checking and refreshing. Oh, did somebody like my post? Did somebody like my post in the last 10 minutes? I go on there,
It's funny because it's not about the likes. It's about the am I affecting? Is my vibration out there affecting? Is anybody responding back?
Yeah.
And it's almost, I felt as even that is addicting, is knowing or hoping that what you're doing or your word has been helping, in a sense that is something that we crave, to know that we're helping. And it's crazy because we don't even need the feedback. So part of that liking and that looking for the comment, or even it just being an option, is something that is very distracting. It's very distracting.
Yeah, and as spiritual people, we should actually get the feedback from God or Source or whatever anyone wants to call it. When you like the word God, I know that. I like the word God. Yeah. God, Source, Energy, the creation that made us, that put us all here, because the feedback really comes from God or Source. Anyway, yeah, because we are here because we were meant to be here. It doesn't matter if you affect one person. It doesn't matter if you affect 100 people. Because if I only affected you and then another friend and two other friends, they are gonna affect other people. They are gonna affect other people, and it's a snowball effect. And we've done what we came here to do. It doesn't matter if we get one like on a post, because that one like is going to change maybe this one person's life entirely. And it doesn't matter, because energy is energy, and it doesn't matter how many. It's not a competition of I did more work here than you, and I'm more important than you, because that's just another way to divide us. We're
right.
So it's just competition is division, basically, and that's what the social media. That's another thing we should talk about. Comparing yourself to other people on social media is the worst thing you can do. But of course, we all do it. Do you have any?
We definitely all do it, even though we know there's no single person like us. So it doesn't make any sense to compare ourselves to anyone, you know. Every single person is meant to be an individual, and to try to fit ourselves into labels. And the thing is we only have so many words, right? We only have so many words to describe ourselves. And we're like searching for those labels, and when we see like, oh yeah, that sort of describes me, and that sort of describes me, and that person looks like something that, you know, kind of defines me. And it's definitely like, I know even in mom world, you know, because we're talking about spirituality, but we're also both moms. Like, I've never been the type of mom to really keep up on the post. You know, like the first day of school post.
Oh yeah.
The baby post with the months on the. That was, my kids were old too, like old. They weren't doing that back then, or if they were, I wasn't paying attention to it, you know. But those posts can also be very. I'm not gonna say toxic, because I know that's a strong word, but they can be very distracting for people in comparison mode, you know. Like, I remember when my oldest daughter was like in high school, she would call me out. She'd be like, "Mom, you didn't post a blah 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 post." You know, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. That's something that is expected, like, you know, expected. Prom pictures, you gotta put them up. You gotta put them up. And I never like really got into it, but even the tiny bit that I did, I could feel like, oh, well, I didn't. It's like, if you didn't post it, like, it didn't happen. It's like, it should be the opposite, you know. It's definitely the opposite.
Because that's the funny thing, well, for the people that are listening, you of course, you know that I'm writing a book about spiritual mothering. But does that mean, because I'm going to put this book out there, that I'm the perfect mom and that I know everything about being a parent? No. No, but it means that I speak from my own experience, and it's going to be raw, it's going to be real, and it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to show you where I made some mistakes and how you cannot make those mistakes. That's basically what I'm going to be talking about in this book. And that's the thing too with social media. Like, people that look on my Instagram, I have two accounts. I have my business account and my personal account, but I have like 68 people or something, like just close friends and family on my personal account. I post some pictures of my daughter and of my son, and they all look like nice, perfect pictures, because I'm not gonna post a picture of my kid having a tantrum. So, and she has that. Well, my kid is highly sensitive, but if I would take her to a regular doctor, without a doubt, she'd get the label ADHD. And I don't want to do that, because I know that she's here on a mission. She's a starseed. She's super psychic. She remembers past lives. She just cannot deal with energy very well if it's too overwhelming. And I know that I need to adjust my like her routine needs to be a little bit different. She needs time to be alone and to integrate a lot of energies, and she needs time in nature to ground and to clean her auric field, basically. I know that, and I'm not gonna post pictures of her freaking out on my Instagram, but then people get you get the wrong image of what someone's life is like, and when you have a child, and that is not the easiest child to raise, and then you see these other people have these picture perfect lives on Instagram and Facebook with their perfect children that never ever get angry, or never ever throw a fork at your head, or
Yeah.
because they don't post a picture of their kid trying to attack them with a fork.
Right.
But that's the thing, you cannot compare yourself, and it's like that in parenting, it's like that in everything, because then you see people posting, oh, I went and did this, I went over there, I went to have dinner over there, I have so many friends, look at me, blah, blah, blah. That's what you see, but you don't see them in the evening crying because they feel alone, because they don't really have any friends. They had friends for 2 hours. For 2 hours they had those friends, and then the friends go, and when they really are in trouble and they really want someone to talk to, they may not really, those friends may be like, oh no, I don't want to deal with your problems, I want to have fun with you, I want to go out drinking with you, but I don't really want to hear your real life problems, so I'm fine being on your Instagram, getting some of your attention from your followers or whatever. That's cool, But I mean, but when you have some real trouble, I can't really make time for you. And a lot of that, I see that a lot, because then I think, like, I'll get trapped sometimes by the comparing trap, and I'll be like, oh, whoa, look, I only have like 68 followers on my account that are friends or family, and all these other people have like 300 followers. Oh, well, maybe I don't really know that many people, I don't have a lot of friends, but then I'm like, do I really need a lot of friends? And what does that number even mean on social media? Is it some kind of like,
right,
what does that even mean?
Well, I'll tell you how I built my Instagram following. It was back in 2016 when I was using a lot. I mean, I was like seriously into hashtags. I was mostly posting poetry in 2017, but it was hashtags, and I would just post every single day, sometimes more than once a day, just because I loved my poetry that much that I wanted other people to love it. And that's where I got most of my followers, was from building off of hashtags. And it was almost always like writers of Instagram, poetry of Instagram, something like that. I don't know, I haven't like really gained that many followers since I came back and started posting, because I don't post that often. But I don't know most of the people that are on my Instagram anymore. I used to know every single one of them, and now I don't know. Like, I could probably go down and just start like letting people go that I don't actually know, and like kind of going from there. Because one thing that I really like kind of took for granted was when you try to put your stuff out there, like like for me, I was really like working at it. Like, I wanted my thoughts to be shared, I guess I kind of like forgot that like people might actually like it. Like they weren't just liking it for any other reason besides liking it. And I don't know, like I used to think like anybody who actually knew me in real life was liking my stuff just because they know me. Like they're just like, oh yeah, good for Mena. Something like that. And I don't know, like I took some of it for granted, I definitely did. And I stopped thinking about who was looking at my stuff, and I just decided that I didn't for Facebook. I just didn't want to be there anymore because I don't know. It wasn't like I got scared like of sharing what I have to say, because obviously, I mean, I'm talking with you right now about how I feel, and I know it's going to be public. You know, it's not that. It was more like going, oh, I should just be a little bit more mindful about where I'm sharing and who I'm sharing and who I'm affecting. Because I think we know, regardless if someone's like paying attention, they're still getting the message that I'm sending. And I think sometimes I'll take that for granted. And I don't want to take that kind of stuff for granted anymore.
Yeah, because
I want to make sure that the people that I'm talking with and the people that I'm affecting really want to be in that vibe with me, you know, that they share the same, like me and you, when we have conversations privately, they're different than this type of conversation, you know, and those are the kind of conversations I really enjoy, person to person conversations.
Yeah. And that's why
and I felt like I was losing that. I was losing that vibe that was always my vibe. And so that's why I was kind of like, I wouldn't mind just kind of like doing a full retreat and then just having, you know, some really close connections. And I think that was just kind of like an echo of the lesson that we're kind of learning here with COVID, where we're being asked to get a little bit more cozy and a little bit more intimate with who we share our energy with. And I started kind of seeing social media like, you know, I have 300 and something followers, whether they're looking at me or not, or seeing my stuff on their feed or not, because we don't know how the algorithm goes. That's like 300 and something energy cords all hooked up to me at one time. And that's a lot of people. Yeah. I thought I wanted, like, you know, I thought I was like the type of person who always wanted that many followers, or to be shouting from the rooftop and for a bunch of people to hear. And 2020 made me think like, no, I would rather have a cozy knit circle than being out there trying to crusade in the social media world.
Yeah, that's why to me it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I like the fact that I get to meet people, and I really try my best. Well, I also like commenting on people's posts, because just liking something, it's like anyone can just click like, but you don't know what they're thinking. So I will really take time. That's what I do. When I have my phone, I'll have like 15 minutes a day that I'm consciously really being present with my news feed and really commenting on people's stuff, so that they really know what I'm thinking about and about what they're posting. And then I'll get messages back, and I'll start direct messaging with people, and that's how I build these relationships that are actually meaningful. Like the girl that I had on my podcast last time, and the other episode before that, those two women, I met them through Instagram because I started commenting, and then we started commenting back and forth, and then you actually get to know each other. And because when you just follow someone and you constantly like their posts, but you have no idea what they're thinking, do you really know your followers? And that's why I will take time to really comment, to let somebody know, oh wow, that message really resonated with me, thank you for sharing. I'll say, because it's not, to me, it's also not just, I don't take it for granted that somebody takes time out of their day to post a message, because they have to take the time to do that. And I want to let them know, like, okay, you put that up there and I'm seeing it right now, this is how it's affecting my day, thank you for sharing. Or I'll direct message them or something. And that's why I'll also ask people when I post something, I'll ask a question, or like, hey, leave a comment below, tell me how this makes you feel, because I want to really have conversations. And that's what I like about it. But then it's like you said, when you have an off day, you'll just be scrolling, and that's the thing. You have to kind of, for yourself, be able to tell, like, why am I, like, my phone's right here, like, why am I grabbing my phone? What's the point of me grabbing the phone right now? What am I trying to do? Am I actually trying to give something, or am I trying to take something? Am I trying to get something from this phone that's going to make me feel better? And is it something that I could get from something else? Like, I have other hobbies, like people that's what I feel anyway. If you have like a phone addiction or something, try to find another hobby that you need your hands for, like learn to crochet or to draw or whatever, and then whenever you feel like, oh, I need to grab the phone because I need to be doing something with my hands, then put the phone away and do something else with your hands. Create something, be creative. Or start cooking, go bake a cake or cookies, or something healthier, not really cookies, something like a smoothie. Go make a smoothie or whatever.
Make a smoothie.
Yeah. And do something healthy, or go in the garden. If you have a yard or a little garden, go and garden and do something that's gonna be healthy for you. Okay. So, what was I saying? I can't remember. About
you were saying keep your hands busy.
Yes. Yeah. That because the thing is, or your mind, you're trying to just keep your mind occupied, like you said. But I think a lot of people, they get depressed or anxious or something because they are not used to just doing one thing at a time anymore. And they feel like when they're just sitting or just doing one thing and being present with the one thing that they're doing, they feel like they're not doing enough, so they have to grab the phone.
Oh, that is such a good thought. I never really thought about that, but yeah, it's so right. Because honestly, I sometimes am doing 3 things at once, and one of them is, using my phone. I'm like listening to a conversation, I'm writing something down, I have my phone in my hand, it's real, and it's like, why am I doing so many things at once? Like, what am I accomplishing here? But I think you really hit it on the head when you were saying, like, we're really supposed to be in our bodies, and having all that activity up here, like so much congestion in the neck, and getting that stuff moving is really like coming into the body. Like when you're like, it's so funny because I'll do meditation and then I can feel myself just get heavier and heavier, and I'm like, where was all that energy? It's all shooting out in every direction, and all of the communications and all of the the energy that's floating around with all these things that I'm multitasking. And it is exhausting, but it's also addicting.
Because it's basically a word that a lot of people use right now, the new normal, but not about internet. It has become the new normal. And go back to only 20 years ago or 25 years ago, and normal was a completely different thing. Normal was cooking dinner, being with your kids, having a phone conversation, like with a phone that had an actual cord. You had to sit down, and you couldn't be doing 5 things at the same. Like if you wanted to talk to somebody on the phone, you had to stand there with the phone in your hand, and you couldn't start walking around or do other things. You had to just be present with the phone conversation. And right now, like most people are on the phone, they're talking and they're texting somebody while the phone's on speaker, and they're talking to somebody, and then they have the TV on, or they're in front of, like, the laptop is on, and they are doing all this stuff at the same time, and it's just too much. I think sometimes because we are trying to be so connected with other people, we are actually disconnecting. Okay, this is a good one. We're trying to connect so much to other people that we are disconnecting from ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you're disconnected from yourself, you can't really truly connect with others.
Right.
And it seems like you deserve some kind of medal in life for being busy. for always being busy, for doing so many things that, like, you don't get rewarded for taking time off. Nobody ever, it seems like you're being looked upon, like, if you're taking time off, then they'll tell you, oh, you're being lazy, you're being whatever, like you're not productive enough because you're taking time off. You're not, like, that's the thing, that's kind of the thing too with social media. All these people are like, look at what I'm doing so many things, and I'm one of those people sometimes. Like, I'll have days where I post in my stories, I like my Instagram stories, I'll have like 5 or 6 different stories that I upload all day long of me making candles, me crocheting, me drawing, me doing something else, me pulling cards for Instagram, and then at the end of the day I'm like, whoa, I posted all this stuff, I did all this stuff, and it seems like I was super busy, but was I taking time for myself? And then the next day I know that I have to take time for myself, because if I do that every day, I'm not going to have enough time for myself.
Yeah, sometimes I think to myself, am I doing this, like, or am I posting about this?
Yeah.
You know? I was really in a cycle where it was half and half. And that's not supposed to be, that's not me, you know? Mm-hmm. So I had to really step back. And this was like, this wasn't too long ago, where I was like really focused on, I had something to say, so I wanted to make sure that people were going to see it, you know? And there's an algorithm for that. I know how it works. Yeah. Most of us know how it works, you know? And you gotta like put in a post like this, put in a post like that. I mean, you don't have to be a professional social media person to know how it works. And like, for me, it's like all I'm doing is posting some weird ass thoughts that I hope are gonna make somebody's day. You know, I don't have very much motive than that. But I still understand the algorithm that's used, and because I understand the algorithm that's used, it makes you look at a lot of social media in a different way. And I just was like, yeah, I don't really have to be a part of that part either, you know? Like we were talking earlier, you don't have to. I think I said something very similar not too long ago, like about how many people should you really be affecting in your life, you know? Nobody said we had to affect 10 to 20 a day. That's a lot. Yeah. And I think like as a real person who wants to embody my human vessel and live inside of my human body and not be spread out all over the world all the time, I want to have my real connections, and I want to be creating my heaven on earth starting in my house and not worrying about how it's reflected on social media. It really does feel a lot better. And I think that like whatever our little thing is, you know, because my thing was like whatever, posting about spirituality, posting about things to hope wake somebody up. But we all have a thing, you know. Even somebody who's not into spirituality all has a thing on social media, you know. There's something that they're looking at, and maybe it is just like checking out what their family's doing or their friends doing, but that's some of this like most subtle, like we were talking, compare-itis behavior, you know. It's like when you know the other person has a totally, you know, full life that they're not posting about, but you decide to fixate on the fact that they have X number of perfect pictures with their whole family smiling. I can't post pictures of my kids half the time because I can't get them to smile. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
My daughter, if I ask her to smile, she gives me the weirdest smile, the weirdest face ever. So I can't. Yeah. I can't get her to smile on command.
She literally told me the other day, like, that I would have to get her permission to post any pictures about her. You know? And I think you had said something like that you felt that way already about Nora, like you wouldn't just post pictures of her or stories about her.
Let's hop into the next topic that's going to be a little more serious. consent.
Yeah.
Like children, if you have kids, and especially once they're talking and have their own opinions, then I think it's only natural that you ask your kid, hey, I have this picture of you, I really like this picture of you, is it okay with you if I post this on my Facebook or Instagram? But the thing is, I tell my daughter, this many people are going to see this picture, are you okay with that, yes or no? And if she says yes, and then a few months later she may say, I don't like it, can you take it offline? Then I will.
Yeah.
Because the thing is...
See, and I never thought about that kind of stuff. And my daughter was just bringing it up. She said, you know, like, if you post something about me, especially if you post, like, a story about me, I have to be okay with it. And I was just like, whoa, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see so many parents... And I don't want to judge, because I know everyone does what they think is best, and everyone loves their children in the best way they can, and they believe that sharing their pictures is because they do it out of love, and they feel they love their kids so much, and they want to share this with other people. And I know, I get that, but I'm not going to be posting a picture of my kid on a potty. Or I'm not going to be posting a picture of my kid. Like some parents, they post pictures of their kid having a tantrum with like some kind of caption like, oh, how cute, they're having a tantrum, blah, blah. That's not cute. Those are emotions. You're you're not taking their emotions seriously, but that's something that comes up in my book too, child shaming. Shaming them for their emotions and then sharing it on social media. That's not okay, I think.
I haven't experienced too much of that in my personal life, like seen it on my feed or anything. But I've seen like the joke posts about it. You know, like when like a parent does something very, very harsh about their kid, like they did something wrong. So
they cut like this one kid and they cut her hair or something. Yeah,
like cutting the hair or wearing something embarrassing or whatever. And it's funny because in my, like, I guess it would be my age range, that's like, you know, parents are like divided. Like half of the parents are really waking up and saying like, whoa, we have to like respect our children from the moment they're born and understand them as individuals. And then there's the other half that are like, spank them, we were spanked.
Yeah, and we turned out okay, but you didn't
happen bad to me. And it's true, like, you know, you're not nothing bad happened to you, but if there's little things that we can do that are treating our children with more like respect, you know, because when we grew up, we weren't like, oh yeah, I remember when my mom really laid into me and did that and the other, and she wouldn't listen to me when I spoke and scared me so bad with her yelling that I couldn't even express myself, you know, and then when I do that to my kids, oh my gosh, I'm like, at least I apologize and I do my best. I mean, we all falter. We have our parent moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's something that I can tell you that my whole parenting has been like about 20 years now. I was not thinking about this kind of stuff 15 years ago. I wasn't thinking about my daughter's feelings as an individual. It was just not on my mind. But as I've, you know, grown in parenting, I've become a different type of mother. I'm more observing the behavior and seeing where we can go with it to help them flourish. It's not the easiest parenting style. I know you know that.
Yeah, especially having kind of a high energy child as I have. She does, like, I joke sometimes and I'll tell people it's like raising 3 kids in one body because she has so much energy. She's hyperactive but at the same time hypersensitive. So yeah. But it's worth it because she's teaching me a bunch of stuff, and that's why I do respect her. I want to respect who she is as a person. And when I take a picture then I'll ask myself, why am I trying to share this picture? Is it because I really want other people to see how great she is? Or is it because I want other people to think I'm such a good mom? Or why am I sharing this picture? And is she even okay with me sharing this picture? And or like if I get the urge to post a picture of her, then I'll think to myself, who am I trying to really show this picture to? And then I'll just like private message it to my mom and my brother and my dad, and I'll just do that instead.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I mean, my kids usually, like I was saying, we don't get a lot of photos, but I haven't posted very many pictures of them on social media. Maybe one picture of Marcus in the recent few months, and I think he was definitely okay with it. And I remember we were there, and he asked me, "You want to take a selfie with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And I told him I was going to put it on Instagram, and he was actually super happy.
Yeah.
But like Mitra, no way. And then Rylan, she likes posts. She doesn't mind them at all.
Yeah, but she's a little older already, so
yeah,
she has her own social media.
She's got her own thing. Actually, her and her boyfriend, they are off social media already.
Oh, interesting.
They did it in the beginning of July. They got off social media. I mean, they weren't really on Facebook that much. I would say that Rylan was mostly on Twitter.
Yeah.
And she decided that... So I never really went on Twitter, but I did tell you that I was on TikTok for a hot second, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was like... That's too much. TikTok's crazy.
I tried it for 5 minutes. Like, literally 5 minutes. I had the app on my phone for 5 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell is this? My multitasking brain cannot do this. Yeah. This is too much. And this is like going too fast. All these people are making videos. They're trying to like put so much in one little clip. It's too much. I need to deactivate. I need to uninstall this stuff. I can't do it. I'm too old. I don't know.
Yeah. So the kids put the TikTok on my phone, and I looked at it, and it was just people falling or tripping or nothing that I wanted to see. So I deleted it, and then they put it back on, and they were like, "No, you have to use the hashtags, or you have to look up things that you like." And they really got me with this hashtag called cottagecore. It was so cute. It was so adorable. There's like all these people like out doing the cutest things. Like someone went to the sea and they got water and they made their own sea salt. Somebody picked the dandelions and they made dandelion syrup. Like they're just these really cute, adorable videos making muffins from scratch.
See, yeah.
But I was on there for like an hour.
And then you lost an hour of your day.
I lost an hour of my day, okay? They even warned me. Mitra said, "Mom, be careful. When you go on TikTok, it feels like a time warp." She's like, "You'll think you're on there for 15 minutes, but it's not 15 minutes.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Facebook, too, I feel. Like, Facebook has that so bad. Like, you'll go on Facebook, and you're just scrolling, and all of a sudden, it's like you started scrolling at 12 o'clock, and all of a sudden, it's 1:30. And you're like, whoa, I was on here for an hour and a half?
Yeah, that's crazy. This is a crazy amount of time. So I was on TikTok. I was having a beautiful time, but that was one of the first ones I deleted. I just deleted it because I have no attachment to it, But I saw the time consuming, and I swear it was like it is like an addiction because when we were talking about all the little things, even that time we were talking about sugar and all this stuff, like when you use this kind of stuff in your body, it kind of like makes you come like like you can feel your little battery come down a few notches,
Yeah.
And like that's what you do with like smoking cigarettes or whatever. It's something that kind of like brings your battery level down. Well, that was like my TikTok. That was TikTok for me for a little bit. I would have like this like way crazy day where I'm multitasking, doing all this kind of stuff, and I wanted to turn my brain off. And I just went over there to TikTok, and I was just like, scroll.
Yeah.
For an hour, for like I don't know, 2 weeks when I did it every single night. It was like a ritual or something. I don't know. It was weird, and I hated it, and I deleted it super fast. But I don't think if I would have understood fully how hypnotizing it was if I didn't try TikTok for that little bit. Though.
Okay, yeah,
I had to really,
hypnotizing, great.
Immerse myself in the hypnosis
to
understand it.
I sent you that Trisha Carr episode about social media is basically for the stuff, like, I can't remember the title, whatever, but yeah, and she's a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, that was a really good podcast.
She's a medium, so for people listening that don't know Trisha Carr, go on YouTube, type in Trisha Carr, R, C-A-R-R, and she's an animal communicator, a medium, but she's also a hypnotherapist, and she basically said when you wake up first thing in the morning, that a lot of people do is grab the phone. They grab the phone, they're on the social media, and the first hour after waking up and the first hour before going to sleep, your brain is in a hypnotic state, and you absorb information a lot deeper, to a deeper level. So the worst thing you can do is wake up, open your eyes, grab the phone, open Facebook. Don't do that. I know it's a habit. So what I do, I don't even have my phone is on airplane mode when I sleep. It's on airplane mode, and then I'll leave it on airplane mode. I get up, I go to the bathroom, I get dressed, and I listen to affirmations. I try to just listen to affirmations until my brain has completely woken up. And after that, like, you've reprogrammed yourself first thing in the morning with positive things, with positive affirmations. Then you get up, and then, like, after you've given yourself the time to be in this body again, in like awake, fully awake, then when you open social media, it's not gonna like sink into your subconscious that much, because you've first programmed yourself with affirmations to be fully present in your body, to be fully aware of what you're doing.
Yeah. I was in a really, I didn't notice the habit that I was in. I was in a habit that was exactly what you were just saying, when pick up the phone when you wake up. And I was in that habit for, since maybe 2015. And it was for various reasons. It was for, did this person text me when I woke up? That was in 2015. I had this person that I was always talking to. And I would check my phone in the morning, first thing. And then, what is it? Like, you want to be on the phone. It's like I was giving myself a reason to be on my phone. And it became a habit to give myself a reason to be on my phone at some point in my life. And that's the thing about, like, the ads and stuff and the whatever gets thrown at you on Facebook. It starts to understand, like, what you're Googling, who you're talking to, all this kind of stuff. And it starts throwing things your way. And it's kind of funny, if you ever sit down and you just have, some time, maybe even during meditation, and you think back, like all the way back to, when did you start seeing certain things on social media? Where are you today? And, like, how did you get here on your social media path? So I thought way back, how did I get on the social media path that I have been on since, like, I don't know, maybe since 2012. And it was straight up from Googling things about narcissism, because I was in my marriage and I was feeling like I was being lied to, and I just started Googling that kind of stuff. And that is seriously, like, if you go back, or I mean, not you personally, but if I go back in my brain and really think about it, you Google that kind of stuff, and stuff that starts to come up is like almost always going to be linked with healing, some sort of healing, And so that's kind of like the realm of how I meshed into spirituality on social media. So like I'm over here trying to figure out what's going on in my life, and then my phone thinks it's being super helpful, and it was. And just like really going back and seeing how you can get kind of like ushered into something without even knowing it. You could be super grateful for it, but like knowing that a lot of the stuff that you Google kind of like ushers you into the way that you are and what you think is something that I think that we take that and we can kind of go, yeah, I know it's happening, and just kind of like fluff it off. But it's actually really important, and I've been really feeling into that and understanding how powerful that cycle is.
Yeah, and like that's also part of sorry to interrupt, like my kid just came here and asked me for glue because she's making something. She's making a picture, like drawing, and she wants to put glitters on it, and that's part of life. That's part of social media. Like that's part of this podcast. If you're listening, I have kids. They're here. Like my son is playing with his toys. My daughter is making something. She's making some kind of picture with glitters. It's Sunday morning over here. Welcome in spiritual mom land. Anyway, that's part of, and I want to try to be more real on social media. And I want, like, in my posts, I try to tell people, like, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say that I am perfect, because a lot of the time you're going to be intimidated by perfection, and that's not going to bring someone closer to you. If you're trying to make connections on social media that are real, you should also be real, because otherwise you're going to connect with somebody, like with the image that you have of someone. But back to what you were, anyway, I got sidetracked. Back to what you were saying. No, the energy. Yeah, no, but that.
We were just like talking about, I think we were talking about like kind of two different things, but they're both related, you know, the phone. The need to pick up the phone, I think, is what we were talking about. And not recognizing, like, I heard something on a video I was watching the other day, and it was like this lady saying, I know you take your phone to the bathroom, right? No one wants to talk about what they're doing in the bathroom, but I will just say, truthfully, I used to take my phone in the bathroom all the time. When I was going to the bathroom, my phone came with me, and I have not been doing that for like the last month and a half maybe. But that is like, that's one of the things I think that keeps people going to the phone right away in the morning, because they go to the bathroom in the morning and they take the phone with them, and they just kind of continue on from there. Then they start looking at the phone when they're drinking their coffee, you know, they're watching TV and they have the phone in front of them.
Yeah.
And like my cycle was really bad maybe for the last like couple months, because I've been sleeping in. So I was waking up to a lot of messages, not just on social media, but, you know, missed phone calls, text messages, because of, you know, summer, and then because the kids are not doing traditional school now, we don't wake up as early. So I was feeling like I was behind, you know, so I was grabbing the phone right away. So maybe the last month it was definitely noticeable for me that I was starting my day right away with the phone. But really, I've been doing that since 2015, but for different reasons, you know. During like a big chunk of 2018-19, I don't think I was doing it as much, but I was still doing it. I was still definitely grabbing the phone and needing something to turn on or something to look at, basically, in the morning. It was like that's what was waking me up, which is not how you want to wake up.
No, it's like, yeah,
all those other energies, you know. And so lately, because I've been really looking into text in the Bible, studying the Bible, I've been starting my day off like that, which is like really interesting, because I've never really been a religious type person or really looked into any religious text. But after I got my phone told me to look up the biblical meaning of a number, and it had never done that before. So I got interested, and since I had a Bible, I started referencing a lot of the numbers that I was seeing in synchronicity in the Bible. And then I started doing, like, every morning.
Yeah, so the social dilemma. Let's talk about that. About the documentary.
Yeah.
Let's get into a more serious aspect.
I thought it was pretty interesting, to be honest. Like, the way I see most media, I mean, because even though it's on Netflix, it's not on mainstream media or anything, it's always just like a version, you know, somebody's, the way that they see it, of the truth. And some people watched it and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that you would even watch something like that, or they can't, you know, get past some of the theatrics of it, you know, because it's clearly got that little scene with the three guys where they're like the controlling the phone and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's theatrical, you know, and it's supposed to, you know, be entertaining. It's not like something that's you're gonna take and use in the court of law, you know what I mean? But there is something about it that it makes me feel like it's telling you, like, all the things that you've agreed to are way deeper than you understand, like way deeper, and we're just going to tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to, like, you know, they bring up some conspiracy theory stuff in there, and they bring up Antifa, and they bring up all this kind of stuff, which I think, like, if you're going to put something out like that, not everybody believes in that kind of stuff, you know, not everybody even knows what that stuff is. So they're going to watch something like that and they're going to think, oh, this is just like some fringy, like, you know, offbeat thing that's trying to confuse me. It's like watching, what was that one called? How to Make a Murderer or something? Where, like, you know, the Netflix documentaries go like this. Like, they make you believe something and then they make you not believe something. And then they make you believe something and, like, you know, you're like, I don't know what to believe. And I think that the social dilemma was just like that, you know, but at the same time they're giving you some information. It just depends on how, you know, how you want to take it. I was already planning on getting off social media. I have that interesting email that, like, I sent you, and I sent a few other people about how I felt, and mine is also, like, my email is also a theatrical version of what I feel about social media, how I compared it to, you know, evil and stuff like that. Like, it's very strong words, I recognize that, but I was being theatrical for a reason, because sometimes you don't know exactly what it is that bothers you. Like, we just talked about, like, all these things that, like, you know, are true about social media, but they're also all the things that we accept about social media. And I think that another thing that bothers me about social media is, like, one of the best examples for what I'm going to describe is, and if you see an article, you know, that's been on a public display on Facebook, and there's a bunch of people that don't know each other commenting on this article, right? And say, the only reason why I see the article is because somebody that I know either shared it or they commented on it and something happened, and now I'm seeing the article and I'm seeing a person that I personally know commenting on this really intense article, this public article. Let's just say it's on politics, you know, in America. And, you know, you see these posts, and to be honest, I don't think that all of the posts are real people. I mean, maybe they're a real person, but they're just out there, you know, causing problems. Do you know that TV show on was it MTV, Catfish?
Yeah,
okay, so, like, honestly, I think that a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands, and, like, you know, not the majority of people, but I'm saying, like, when you see those type of articles, those public articles where everybody is just going at it, it just reminds me of what the government wants us to believe is actually happening. you know? Like, it looks like people are always arguing and disagreeing, but what if you found out that you were arguing and disagreeing with a catfish, you know?
Yeah.
Or someone who's just playing some sort of weird devil's advocate just to keep you engaged in that loophole that you found yourself in on social media.
Yeah, and that's what that's what they were showing with those three little people controlling the phone in the social dilemma. Yeah. They're like, oh, he's distracted. What can we give him to get his attention back? What shall we do? Right. Let's send him a notification. Send him a notification. Yeah. Send him a like from the one girl that he likes. Come on, let's do it. He'll be back. We can bring him back.
Well, it's like, it's a dramatization, and it makes it funny, and it makes some people watch it and go, this is too much. Like, this isn't how it goes down, you know? And to me, it's just a representation. It's a representation of what we actually are going through. And if you really sit down and you, like, go back and you think, what's going on with me in social media? How do I use social media? You know, what's my reasoning for social media? And then there's going to be the, you know, people like who say, I don't need it anymore. I know my daughter, her boyfriend, my friend Heather, and myself, we're all kind of like either completely gone from social media or stepping away from social media. And I'm not even leaving for any bad reasons. It's just because for myself, I just want to remove my energy and put it somewhere else, you know, have it somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think, not to get a little, like, conspiracy kind of, I don't want to really do that, but the thing is, some of these conspiracies, you don't have to focus super bad on all the bad stuff, but you have to be aware of where you are sending your energy. And that is what I put in my caption when I introduced on Instagram that I was going to be doing this podcast. Where is your energy going? Where all are you leaving little pieces of your energy behind? And are you aware of that? Do you even want that? Because all this, like, you can look at it as, okay, you're investing time and energy in scrolling on your news feed and liking a bunch of other people's stuff. But is it actually an equal interaction, or is it a hollow interaction? Because it's like Facebook. What I've done, like I said earlier, I put myself on a Facebook light diet, basically. What that means for me is I don't ever look at my news feed. I don't do that, because I've noticed when I spend time scrolling on the news feed, I don't really get anything in return. It's just lost energy and lost time. But when the only way I still use my Facebook is I use Messenger on the phone to just message people directly back and forth and have conversations. But I don't open Facebook. And when I do open Facebook, I open it on the computer. I don't open it on the phone. And I go straight to a few Facebook groups that I'm a member of, where I also have meaningful interactions with people. And then I feel like I'm putting energy into this platform, and I'm getting equal amounts of energy back. But so I don't ever look on my news feed. And I also put a post up. I deleted all of my Facebook content except for one post that I created where I said, I'm not trying to be rude when I don't like your posts. It's because I just don't look at my news feed. But if you want to keep me up to date on your life, feel free to message me. I would love to have conversations with you, and I would love hearing about your life, and talk to me through Messenger, basically. And so that's how I've started using Facebook. And well, in the past I've had like years that I just didn't have Facebook, that I deactivated my account and then I reactivated it again because I lived in the US and I had all my friends and family in Belgium, where I live now. And so I didn't have Facebook for a while, but then I always kept going back to it because it was my only way to stay in touch with family. So, but then I would get tired of it again like 6 months later, and I would deactivate the whole thing again. But it's about finding that balance, and finding a balance that works for you, so that you can honestly tell yourself, now I'm on social media in a more balanced way. It's healthier for me, and I'm not just giving my energy away and not getting anything in return.
Right.
And I think,
and it's funny because, like, as spiritual, speakers, we'll just call each other spiritual speakers right now, because we're saying, like, we know that we're out there and that our energy gets left, or that we have cords of attachment that we don't recognize on a daily basis, and we're voicing that, you know. But it's like that for everyone, even if you don't know what that means. Like, every single one of us, whether we acknowledge that energy is left in different places, or that we have cords of attachment that are linked to, like, literally every single person that we're interacting with, whether it's on Facebook or in person, like, that happens regardless of your beliefs. And it's to me, when I didn't know about it, that's when you're extra exhausted. That's when you can't pinpoint maybe even some of the reasons why you have medical issues, you know, with headaches or anxiety or all this kind of stuff. It's like, it's linked to the unrecognized spread of our energy. And if not, you know, really, really kind of pulling it down and being inside of our body and living fully in the physical world. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, that word 5D is everywhere. You know, it's like bringing down the 5D and living in this different experience, heaven on earth. You know, this is like catchphrases that we all are hearing in the spiritual community. And I was thinking about the other day, and it's like, you know, embodying your human body and living through, like, what you can see and what you can do, like, all of your senses on, pulling all of your energy down into this experience. That's the 5D, you know. It isn't out here where you can't identify what's going on, because we're meant to be in the human body, you know. We're meant to experience our lives. We're not meant to be living constantly outside of our minds, which is what the technology does to us. It makes us live outside of our minds, you know. We're experiencing all these other people's lives through the scrolling, even on YouTube. You know, you're watching maybe somebody else just live their life. It's almost like, you know, like, for me, I saw the progression. Like, we used to just have TV and, like you were saying, telephones on cords, and then it turned into reality TV, and we were just watching, you know, like, these staged shows. And then we had YouTube come along, where people are just doing things, you know, like, they're doing cooler things than you, and so now you're watching them do things that you wish you could do. And we're in this, like, habit, in this cycle of watching and, you know, letting our brains kind of go into somebody else's life, someone else's experience. And it's like, we're not doing any, like, I know we're doing a lot, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm living my life out, my house is clean, my kids are good, like, you know, all this stuff is happening, but really, like, to bring everything down and be living just this one singular, you know, experience, and not being spread so thin, it makes a huge difference. And, like, you know, I'm not even off of Instagram yet, but the like load of moving away from Facebook, like, aside from, like, you know, feeling like I'm forgetting something, and like picking up my phone and now not having any reason to have it in my hand and just putting it right down. You know, it's like shedding off of a layer of all these expectations that I had for myself, even, you know, and then settling a little bit more into my body, and then shedding another layer of expectations and judgments that I had of myself, and then settling down a little bit more. It's definitely an interesting ride so far.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention too that we're not telling you guys to dump all social media and that social media is the enemy, and you.
Yeah, no.
But it's about being mindful of your social media usage. How are you using social media? Is it an equal energy exchange, yes or no? And be honest with yourself. Truly ask yourself the question, why am I grabbing my phone right now? Am I going to be looking for energy? Do I want something? Or am I just going to be giving my energy away and not getting anything in return? And that's what I was going to mention it. I said I was going to mention it. Steve Nobel. You know Steve Nobel. I know a lot of people know Steve Nobel. If you don't know Steve Nobel, you have to go and find him online right now. He puts a lot of free content out there, meditations, energy transmissions, affirmations, all kinds of cool stuff. So he created his own kind of like social media platform for starseeds. So it's called social-thesoulmatrix.com or social.thesoulmatrix. I'll link it below. In the description. And I joined, and it doesn't have a bunch of members yet. It just has like a couple hundred members. But it kind of reminds me of old school MySpace in the beginning years, and it has groups and stuff. But I feel like when I interact on there with people, I get equal energetic interactions back. Like I will like somebody's picture, and they will come back and they will like my stuff too. And we'll start talking and have actual meaningful conversations. And like I've posted about this podcast in there, and I got a bunch of likes from people because it's also like-minded people. You're sharing your energy with someone that's willing to receive your energy, and that's what I kind of like about that. We're on Facebook. I go on there, and I had like a couple hundred friends on Facebook, and I share something that's meaningful to me. I put all this energy into it, and I get barely anything. I get crickets in return. And it's like, okay, and then I feel like I lost so much energy, and I didn't get anything in return. And that to me was like, okay, I'm not investing time in Facebook anymore, but how can I make social media work for me? Basically, it's about how can you make it work for you while still staying balanced and centered and like guarding your energy. It's about guarding your energy while using social media. And I think a lot of people are just not really aware even that they are. It's basically being siphoned away from them, like their energy. It's like somebody hook them up to like a cord. It's like energy cords, and you're just basically draining energy all the time. You're draining your energy. It's just leaving your body, and you're not even aware of it.
You know, something you said when you were bringing up Steve Nobel's new platform, it made me think of something that's like also bothered me about social media, and I'm just gonna like put it out there because I think it's important, and I think we sort of touched on it last time when we were talking about authenticity and helping people through social media, you know, making connections and making sure that you're showing up as your authentic self when people are coming to you for guidance or just for friendship, whatever it is, you're being authentic. And there is some things that I noticed on social media, like, you know, just because I love to research and just click around and, you know, go look at people's stuff and just see, you know, like what's the motivation behind some things, right? We know that there's literally social media influencers, and they have a direct target, right? When they're targeting people on social media, they're a personality. And when it comes to spirituality, I get real sensitive about the fact that there are spirituality personalities out there, you know, and not somebody who's being truly authentic. I've seen it, and I have experienced it, and it gives me like, it's like if they were all in a group and you didn't know who was an influencer and who was being authentic, that makes me uncomfortable. That I would just want everyone to always do their due diligence, you know, when they're connecting with people on any social media platform, making sure that that person is who they truly authentically are, and that what they're offering you is something that you truly want to integrate into your life, you know, that you want to, like you were saying, receive that energy. and making sure that that person isn't just doing it to make $1. And I think right now in our social media platforms, it's very hard to tell from what's what, you know. Like, there is this thing about astrology that got me, like, I don't know, maybe it was like 2 months ago. I was listening to somebody talking about astrology on YouTube, and then I happened to stumble upon a website that was almost verbatim what that person on YouTube was saying. And it was, like, kind of shocking to me, you know, which it shouldn't be shocking. It shouldn't be, because if it's out, you know, it's out there, someone could just print something and read it, and they're, you know, you don't know, like, how are you to know that they have done that? How many people, how many of us are out there due diligence with, you know, finding sources and checking things and making sure this? We don't have time for that. You know, we're, like you said, we're like triple tasking.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing all this stuff, you know, and we just, we assume, which is weird, because, like, isn't, like, that one of the main things we're never supposed to do in life is assume that, you know, the person that we're connecting with is being as authentic as us. And like, when you're, I think that it's important for, like, people that are just blossoming into spirituality as well to know, like, you know, to have their discernment on, to not be so excited that they're just grasping at anybody out there, but they're, you know, like, they're really feeling into it. They're connecting with somebody who's going to give them, you know, something's going to fill them up and not just be about making money. And I've seen it, and I just, like, that's one of the things that for me in like the group of spiritual women or spiritual people that are trying to make a difference in the world, like, it's like kind of like in my mind, like part of the spiritual war that we have, like, mimics out there, you know. And I saw a lot of it on TikTok, you know, because you could just make a quick video, like, nobody really, you know, spends that much time focusing in on who it is, but that you can just produce content. You know, like, we could both just produce content, but we also both know how draining and how exhausting it is to go out there and be doing something with no heart. Yeah. So
that's why. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but that is why my podcast, I think this is episode 10 or 11. I think 10. Anyway, I started this podcast 6 months ago or something, but this is only episode number 10. Why is that? Because energetically, this for me is really an energetic exchange. I'm really in my upper chakras right now, having this conversation with you. It's super interesting. It's flowing. You're talking. You're letting God, Spirit, talk through you. I'm doing the same thing. And after, like, when we're done talking, I need to turn all technology off for a couple hours. My phone will be turned off, the computer's turned off, and I go spend time with my kids, with being present, doing stuff around the house for a couple hours before I touch the phone again, before I touch the computer again. And then I put a lot of energy in these episodes, and I only have people on my podcast that I truly resonate with, that I am on the same wavelength with. And I prefer doing that and giving the listeners, like, true content that's heart-based, that's based in my heart, that flows, and that isn't just me having some robotic conversation with another person and, like, just asking some questions. Because I've listened to so many podcasts, because I love listening to podcasts. And if you're on Steve Nobel's social platform, I even started a group there where I was asking others to share your podcasts. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a podcast channel? Share all your stuff here so that we can all listen to each other's content and learn from each other. Because I'm not about, like, oh yeah, I'll listen to my podcast. It's about best podcast ever. I don't want to do that. I want to share my message, and I don't care if I only, like, share 2 podcasts a month, but because the people that need to tune in and find me, they will find me, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to, like, do an episode every day, because basically, yeah, that's something for another episode maybe, but I was gonna be on somebody else's podcast, but then it didn't work out energetically, and I truly feel now that it was not an energetic match because of what I'm trying to be about and maybe what they are about, but not saying that they're a bad person, but that we just had different energetic frequencies, and we just didn't mesh well. And then in the end, I'm not losing anything, they're not losing anything, because we just weren't meant to be working together.
Right. And that's okay. Good thing that you figured it out before you were in the middle of a conversation and like either, halfway arguing or just kind of, going back and forth. I remember listening to a podcast of a podcaster that I really enjoy, and I'd never heard him like get in a tense conversation with someone before, and you can definitely like hear it even when someone's trying to just see like the other point of view. If someone is uncomfortable, it comes through the voice like very strongly.
Yeah, and that's why I know that people listening to what we're talking about, they're gonna feel and they're gonna know that, oh, this is flowing, this is a good energy, and that's how you're gonna get people to want to listen to your content and to really get something out of it, because that's truly my goal, being on social media. I guess I just figured that out now, is how can I share something that will spark something in somebody else. And I guess sometimes you do have those insecurities pop up, like, oh, this only had 12 likes, maybe I suck at being on social media, or but it doesn't matter, because for those 12 people, because I only want to share stuff that means something to me, then for those 12 people that made a difference. And I also don't agree with the unspoken rule of having to post every day to keep people occupied. I don't do that. I post when I feel like posting and what my heart wants me to post. I basically ask myself, what is a good message for me to share today that will mean something to my followers, and how can I spread a message today that will really serve the people that are gonna be scrolling their Instagram or whatever, and that are going to be receiving my message. And when you go on social media and have the intention of sharing and serving, I think that it's always going to be way more meaningful than when you go on social media with the intention of, what can I get out of it right now? What can I get out of it? Because then you're not doing it from a heart-based space. And it's like, it's not just for me, because I'm having a spiritual business and trying to find people that resonate with my work. It's for anyone doing whatever, just if you do whatever your reason is for being on social media, just always ask yourself, how can I make someone else happy? This is a social platform for social interaction. And how can I help someone today on social media?
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she's always got my back on social media stuff, because she's very savvy when it comes to just the way things work on social media. I'm kind of like always a little bit naive, I think I would say, a little bit naive to certain social media rules or how things actually work, or the depth of meanings of like hashtags and stuff. Like, I take it so flippantly, and it's, sometimes it can be very serious. But she has always said that what her main motivation is going on social media is to make somebody smile that day, and I don't know, it's kind of inspiring to know that like a lot of people are using social media in a really great way, and the little things like comparing or getting that phone pickup, that technology hit, that need to always be connected, I think all those things are going to be evened out, through time. This is just like this is such a learning curve for us. Like, come on, we've only been on social media for so long, and it's like kind of like skyrocketing up. And there's going to be a time where it just kind of like tapers, and then maybe we'll see like different platforms and different ways to connect. I mean, like for me, like I feel like in the last couple months I've been acting like this is like the only thing and nothing's ever going to change, even though I know in my heart that doesn't make any sense. Like I was getting really down on the social media stuff, and it's not even really how I feel 100%. But sometimes, sometimes I'm down here and I'm thinking about all the negative stuff, and then sometimes I'm up here, and I don't know. It's just it is a roller coaster. Like when you think about it as an addiction, for me, I'm okay with admitting that it was an addiction.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't see that.
To kind of like slide away from it, and even if I could be like an example for one person to be noticing a little bit more how much they're on their phone, and then that would be great.
Mm. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize, or they don't want to see that it's an addiction. Like because they think, how can having my phone in my hand be an addiction? It's not like I'm on drugs, or it's not like I'm whatever. But in a way, it is. It's an attention addiction. Because you think that you're going to get attention. Yeah, you think that you're going to be fulfilled, that you're going to get this attention, this feeling of wholeness. When you're going to try to find it in the phone, you're going to try to find it in that phone. But it's not in the phone, it's in yourself. And if you, you know what I mean? It's not going to be in that phone.
Right.
And that's why...
It's going to be through doing something through, like really. I just keep thinking, like, physical action. It's what we're doing, like, in the real world. We're acting out in the real world now. Acting out loud, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's how it started. That's how social media began. Like sharing what you do in the real world. You live your life and then you share it. But it's become the other way around now. That, like you said earlier, people are basically living their life. They are arranging their life around. Oh, I have to post today. I have to post about this today. So I'm gonna arrange my day around this post that I have to make.
Yeah.
So it's become the other way around of what the original intention of social media was, to share your life. But now it's become, I have to arrange my life around social media.
Right. And you can, like, have you ever just been somewhere and you can see people like, oh, that's for social media. They're over there taking a picture, like, and then deleting it, and then taking another picture, and then deleting it, and then taking another picture. It's like, whoa. But that's what we all do. We got a little bit trapped in that cycle. Back when we had film, and you just got what you got. No one was like, oh, hold on, I don't like the way I look in that picture. Don't you dare post that because I don't like that picture or whatever. Like, I was totally the type of person where I would get butt hurt, like, so mad if someone posted a picture of me that I didn't like, which is, like, almost all pictures, so I don't know what I'm talking about, Like, there isn't, like, one time where a friend posts a picture where I'm, like, super okay with it. I'm always a little bit angry. And that's just, like, not right. And I hate even admitting it, But it's, like, I've been in that moment where I cannot take a picture that I want anyone to look at. And it's my own judgment of my own face. Like, you see my face for what it is, right? You're not like, oh, Mena, sometimes your face looks like this, sometimes your face looks like that. It's like you're looking at my face as a whole. And here I am, like, I'm not looking at my face all day. So when I see it in a photo, I think, oh, wait, no, I don't want it to look like that, But everybody else is like, hey, guess what? You look like that all the time.
Yeah.
That's your face. And that's when I see somebody else saying that they don't like their picture, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you look beautiful. That's what you look like. And we lose sight of it because we're always trying to make that perfect expression now that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and I think that there is people are trying to find more authenticity on social media. I can tell that people, when they see someone else being authentic and just not caring what they look like, how people are gonna perceive them, they're just being their true self.
And trying to get it like perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Doing things for posts, like you're making your life around the post.
Yeah, that people are looking for more authenticity when they go on their accounts, and that's why I post like energy updates and readings on my Instagram. I started doing that in September, and they're like 20 minutes long messages, videos. And in September, I was looking. I filmed myself while doing a runestone reading, like an energy update for the people on my Instagram, and I looked at it afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, I look horrible in this video. What the hell? The lighting was awful.
You made a mean comment about yourself. I remember that.
Yeah, and I'm like,
what are you talking about?
And then I said, yeah, but the message is super on point. The message about, like, I was so happy with the reading I did. I said, I don't care what I look like in this video. I'm going to post it. I really don't care. I'm just going to post it, and it is what it is. And I got so many good comments, and people messaging me, people commenting, saying, wow, I resonated with your reading so much. This is really happening for me, too. I'm totally getting the same energy. Thank you so much for sharing this message. And then I'm like, see, I don't care what I look like, because people can see through it. They don't care what you look like. They don't... It doesn't matter if you are spreading like source's message, spirit's message, God's message. If it's something of value and it's gonna affect other people, it doesn't matter what you look like. You don't have to look a certain way to be popular on social media. If you have a message that comes from the heart, then just spread the message. And the people that are...
And if you see somebody getting more attention and you think it's because of the way that they look, then look away. Don't focus on that. Like, don't look at that account at all. You know, like I feel like that is something that happens, and it doesn't even... Like, you don't even know if that person is, like, being authentic. You're just looking at a number, and those numbers don't mean anything. You know? Like... Honestly, wouldn't you, like your people's minds would probably explode if they knew like how common shadow banding is just on regular people, just to keep people from talking to each other. Like, honestly, like I don't even like want to go and say anything about that really, because it is kind of conspiracy theory-esque.
We're doing it. We're going for it. We're doing it. Say what you have to say. We're going there.
Well, in my opinion, like so I never even knew what shadow banding was, right? I didn't ever like research it. I never even heard that word until I heard it through Mitra, because I guess people say that word on TikTok all the time. So I just like looked into it, and I thought to myself, like, if it is a fact that these technology algorithms, all this stuff knows what we're doing on our phones, right? And one of the things is to kind of keep people separate and divided. We can see it in the regular media, that we're being separated and divided, and that our differences are being highlighted instead of the good things that we're doing. Like, we can see that in the media. So in social media, we can see the idea of comparing ourselves to other people become a problem when we see accounts with a lot of likes on them, and the idea that an authentic person such as yourself or myself could get very few likes on something, and we're wondering how is my stuff popping up on people's feeds, right? How is my stuff getting put to the top through hashtags? Like, if you're thinking about wanting to reach even, 2 people that day to help brighten their mood, like, how are you doing it, and which ways are you doing it through? And then what is the algorithm doing to your account? Not because you're anybody special, or not because I'm anybody special. I'm definitely not saying that, because I said that to somebody the other day. I'm like, oh, you think you're so cool that you're being shadow banned? I'm like, no, absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we would probably have our minds blown if we knew how the algorithm suppressed just regular old Joe's Jans, or whatever you want to call us, from connecting on true deep levels, and that we're bombarded with the advertisements and the sponsored ads and the people that have, these big followings, these social media influencers. We're bombarded by their stuff, but to find each other, it actually takes a lot of work. You know?
Yeah, totally.
When I found each other, like, had to happen just so for us to be in the same group. But on a different type of level, if you even notice, like, when you put out a post, if you use certain hashtags, you might get 2 to 3 followers new a day, but you're going to lose them in a few days too, because they weren't real, and that kind of stuff. Like, once you get into looking at what social media is doing, those numbers mean nothing.
No,
and
they
I
don't.
think that the algorithm, not only does it show us things to keep us directed in a certain trajectory, on keeping our minds on a certain trajectory, but it also limits our voices when we're speaking to each other. And I don't even know if that's really called shadow banding or if that's the correct use of the word, but it definitely feels like that social media algorithm that is out there keeps us from each other and kind of pushes us in a way that means more about the money than it means about connection.
Yeah, because I have, I think today, actually, I just hit 1,400 followers, 1,400 followers on my Instagram, which seems like a lot of people, which is a lot of people, but
yes, it is a lot of people.
On an average post, I have between 20 and 30 likes. So that's not really very many likes if you look at the amount of followers that I have.
Right.
But it's usually the likes that I do get are from the people that I really interact with, like the people that I have direct messages with, the people that I really go and comment on their posts. I really go and like their stuff. And it's like a little group of 30 followers that I regularly have real interactions with. And we, like, that's kind of the likes that I have on my account. And here and there I'll get a few new followers, and sometimes I'll lose them again, and then sometimes they'll stick around. But out of 1,400 followers, 30 likes really isn't that much when you think about it. And
I think in 2017, when I was saying I was really trying to build my following, I actually downloaded one of those apps that showed you when people followed you and when they unfollowed you, and that was like, that is the type of rabbit hole nobody wants to go down. But if they made an app for that, a bunch of people use it.
Yeah.
And I think I had it on my phone for about 2 months, and it was just like, it was a lot of people following and then dropping off, and you're just like, either that was not a real account, or it was just a person who's trying to get a follow back, and then as soon as you follow back, then they drop you. Which is crazy that's what people do, but that's what people do.
Yeah, it's also, like I said earlier, about putting the right energy into your social media. Like, if I see somebody, like, I open Instagram and there's a follow, then I'll go and look at them, and then I'll decide for myself, is this somebody that I want to follow back, yes or no? And I will follow them back if it resonates with me. If it's a message that feels good to me, then I will follow them back. But if it's a message that I'm like, well, I'm not really sure if I agree with what they stand for, then I'm not going to follow them back.
Yeah.
See? And you shouldn't automatically follow, like you'll see on Instagram, a follow for a follow, but then why are you following each other? Then, then why are you, it's not a real heart-based communication. It's not, it's just about having one more follower and looking more interesting on social media.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the algorithm too, because the more followers you have, the more you're bumped up when you use hashtags or something like that.
Oh, really?
Right?
See, I didn't know any.
I mean, I really don't know. I could just be like totally making stuff up, but that's the way it appears when I like think about why do you need that many followers and you don't care if they're real or not. You know, what's the point of some of those accounts? Like, I don't get it. I don't get those one, like, money sign ones. Have you seen those? They come in, like,
oh yeah,
like, oh, if you want to, oh my god, like, I have, like, serious, like, straight up scam. Somebody put, like, some weird scam thing in my inbox, and I didn't even open it. I just deleted it, and I was like, this is happening. Like, people are just messaging you like, hey, you want a bunch of cash? What the heck is happening?
Yeah, it's weird. So that's the thing too with social media. You just have to really be intuitive about the people you're interacting with, and ask yourself too. Trust yourself, and don't trust an external source to tell you if this person is right for you, if it's good to have an energetic exchange with this person on the internet. Ask yourself, is this right for me? And how do I feel about this? Is this giving me energy, or is this taking my energy and I'm not getting anything in return? So that's I keep saying that, but that is really what it comes down to again and again. Is social media an energetic equal exchange for you, yes or no, or are you just giving away your energy?
Yes. And yeah. I am at the point where I would like to feel what it's like with no social media, and then go from there. And it's like, I saved all my content, even though I have all my stuff, like, I, like, saved it all. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to do it for however long it lasts, for however long I can take it.
Yeah, but I think it's good to do that every now and then. Take a little break, or if you can't be off of social media completely, to put yourself on a diet, a social media diet sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about it, like you were saying, a lot of the stuff you put out, a lot of the stuff I put out, and putting it out to create a spark in somebody, you know, hoping to inspire a new thought or a different way to see something, or even just like, seeing my perspective and accepting me. You know, that's, like, something that I think is really important on social media too, is that we're sharing our ideas, and we're sharing, you know, our some of our most intimate thoughts in some ways. And, like, looking for someone to just be like, you know what, I might not fully 100% agree with everything you say, but I see you, and I witness you, and I appreciate your voice in this world, you know. That's a lot of, I know what my motivation is for speaking. And like you were saying, you like to comment on people's stuff and private message them. I'm the same way. And, you know, just making it feel, like, really special. And then I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
We've been talking for almost 2 hours. I think we just kind of need to do a part.
Yes, I remember. This will be the final thought. Was like, I have used social media and stuff to inspire you know, to get inspiration in my day as well. You know, using, like, different things, bringing in new information into my life, creating new thoughts from my experiences. And what I'm actually really looking forward to is finding all those inspirations right here. You know, like, actually cutting, like, really cutting all those ties and seeing what my work looks like, what my writing looks like, removing myself from all of the external input, and just really kind of focusing in on what's coming, what's my direct message. And not worrying about, am I going to post this, and, you know, who's going to read it or anything. Like, I'm just, you know, like, really focusing on writing just for my own channel, and seeing where that leads. And, you know, like, I know probably a little bit of me will be, like, writing it, whether it's handwritten or anything. I know I'll be writing it to share at one point, but how am I going to share it? And it's definitely not going to be in the social media realm where I'm looking for those likes or that instant gratification. I think that's really important, recognizing that it's not for instant gratification.
Yeah, if you can tell like, if you go within and say, okay, I'm writing all this stuff, it's super meaningful to me, I want to share this, but in a way that it's really meaningful to other people, not just so that they can just look at it quickly and forget all about it. Like, you could even go back to, like, old school mail, just regular writing and making copies, actual physical paper copies, and sending it to people's home addresses, like, and then they can send you their opinion on it, like write a handwritten letter, and they can tell you, wow, I sat down, I took the time to open your envelope to read your poetry, and now I'm taking the time to really write you a handwritten letter to tell you how I feel about what you sent me. And then it's going to be, you could try doing that, because...
Did I tell you that I was thinking about doing that? That's so funny that you brought that up. I have this, I might have told you that I have this section of writing that I call the handwritten phase. And it's like I wrote it all in hand, and it was in the beginning of this year, between February and April. And I always like, what am I going to do with this? You know, how am I going to, like, you can take a picture of it and scan it into PDF and then transfer it over, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. But I left the backside of every single paper blank. And, like, I had this thought, like, I don't know, maybe in April, about what am I doing with this piece of paper? And I thought, I could mail it to people, and they could write on
and
that
would be really
make it like it's like an actual chain letter, you know. And it's just like whatever. It's some of my thoughts, and I would love, you know, like, people to start conversations off of it. That's all I ever really desire in the world, is to help people create new conversations and new accepting new things into their life, so that it can expand their awareness. And it's like, why is that important? Well, because when we get tunnel vision, we just end up scrolling, right?
Yeah.
That's we'll get on top of that then. Anybody who listens and sees any of my my contacts, I don't know if you've ever dropped any of my contacts, but, like, you could probably drop my email address if you want to. People can give me their addresses.
Yeah, I usually put your website and Instagram and all that, but I'll put your email address, and then if somebody, like, that was listening was like, wow, I got really inspired, I would like to contact Mena, then they can just email you, and it can be, and like I said, an equal energetic exchange. That isn't hollow, that is filled with heart-based messages through email, because email, I still prefer email over any other form of communication. Well, like typed like text or whatever. Email, because you write longer messages, and it's more personal still.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was never a big email person. I missed the whole email phase. I thought it was, like, in the time when people were using email, and, like, whatever year it was, I wasn't doing it. I never got into it. I always thought it was just for paying bills.
Yeah, I think people stopped emailing once all the social media platforms and direct messaging platforms were born, like Facebook. Yeah. Like, once Facebook was there, emails weren't. You only emailed your grandma or something, or somebody like your aunt. But then
everybody started those chain messages. Remember, that got really popular. At least I was getting, like, way too many of them. I got really, like, bent out of shape about it. I'm like, I can't take another one of these. If you don't send this to 14 people, you're gonna explode or something.
Yeah. Like, you're gonna explode. My head kind of feels like it's gonna explode right now.
I know.
But it's been feeling like that for the last couple of months.
Yeah, it really has. We've definitely been going through a lot of shifts. I mean, from the first time that we spoke on the podcast, it was like the beginning of July, right? And it was like lunar eclipse and a full, like, all this stuff has been happening, and, you know, a lot of astrology. We're still in the midst of all those retrogrades. You know, we just went into the Mars retrograde this month, which slowed down, like, all of our actions, you know? Like, we were all, like, full steam ahead, and now we're like, whoa.
But that's not a bad thing, necessarily. That's actually not a bad thing, especially because we're talking about that in this episode, slowing down our actions, being more present, not trying to multitask all the time. Yeah. I think it's not a bad thing. Also, it's fall, we should slow down a little bit, create a cocoon for ourselves a little bit, and allow new inspiration to flow through, to come in, and then share on social media from a heart-based space, and not just try to constantly be posting, be busy on social media. Just try to be more, I think that's the message that we can give our listeners today. Try to be more present in your everyday life and in your online life. Try to just do one thing at a time for one day. When you catch yourself trying to multitask, tell yourself, no, I'm going to do this thing right now and be fully present with this one thing. And then when I'm done with this one thing, I will go do that other thing. And I'm not going to look at my phone for a few hours. Okay, people listening, when you're trying this, let me know in the comments below or message me if you tried this. How did it make you feel? And will you try it again? And I'm sure that probably you're going to tell me you're going to try it again because it's going to feel really good. So just go ahead and try.
Yeah. I would, when you do it, I would recommend just turning the phone all the way off. If there's somebody important that you need to, let know, I'm turning my phone off for this long, let them know. I called my oldest daughter because she doesn't live here, and I told her, if you try to get a hold of me and my phone is off, it's because, this is what I'm doing. So call your sister or call somebody else, and, if it's an emergency. But it's so funny, we've gotten complacent with this ability to communicate with each other at such a high rate. And it's okay. There was not too many years ago, if you went to the store, if you went to the beach, no one could communicate with you and you were just doing your thing. And now it's hey, where have you been? And you're worried if someone's 2 minutes late because they didn't text you and give you the heads up they were going to be late. And it's we've made it really complicated, and just kind of coming back to the point where that doesn't need to be like that. It actually feels a lot better when you do slow it down. And we are definitely blessed to be going through all these little stages where we have grown so much in such a short amount of time. And could you imagine if everybody who's listening actually gave it a try and put the phone down, and we all came back together, got to talk about it, how the inspiration that came from the inside, and see what that looks like. And so turn the phone off for a little bit, plan it if you need to, schedule it in your day, but make it a priority to feel that unplugged feeling. Yeah, feels really good.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered most of it for now. We can always come back and do another episode. We've been talking for 2 hours now, so maybe we should take a break. And also let whoever was listening integrate some of this and let it sit with it for a little bit. And if you feel like you want to talk about this with either one of us, you can always email Mena. I will put her email below in the description box, because she has experience with going off of social media, and I have experience with being off of social media or being on a social media diet, as I said. And maybe that's what's in the future for us. Social media coaches. How can you have a healthy relationship with social media?
Yeah.
No, anyway.
Or even if you're trying to step away from it and you're feeling like a form of, kind of stress, if you're finding that, I would love to support anybody who's experiencing any stress from that, because I understand it.
Yeah, my computer is right now telling me to be off of the computer because my battery is about to die. So that's another message. And wow, That's crazy. This podcast, my recording app, is saying that it's 1.1 megabytes.
Wow.
See, that's the universe again, right there, saying this, you're on the right track. So
it's funny, when we paused the movie, because I was watching a movie before we hopped on, and we paused the movie, and 111 was how much we had left.
Yeah, see, that's God talking to you right there. That's source, whatever you want to call it, saying, This is the message that you need to be speaking about today. And anyone receiving this message right now, I hope that you are receiving it well, and I hope that you have the courage, because it does take some courage to really look at yourself, look at your social media usage, be honest with yourself. And if you want to talk about your journey, or you want to get started on this social media consciousness journey, feel free to message either one of us, email us. I'm gonna put all the stuff in the description box below. Okay, that was it for this week. I know this was a really long episode. I'm glad you decided to stick around. And if you want to talk about this, or you want to share your thoughts, comment below, message us privately, email, whatever you want to do. We are here for you. We want to keep this conversation going, and we want to be there to help you if you need help with this. And I'm really glad that you decided to tune in and join us for this episode. You can connect with Mena and all of her poetry and all kinds of other cool stuff that she offers on her blog page, Instagram, and I will also mention her email address below. I will also mention Steve Nobel's social media platform, specifically designed for starseeds, below in the description box. Go check it out. It's really nice. It's a cozy, nice little alternative, a spiritual little hub for starseeds to connect online. I'm not getting paid or anything to say this. I don't get anything out of it. I just really have had positive experiences with the platform so far. I'd love it if you commented. And yeah, for all podcast episodes, make sure to go to anchor.fm/mysticalteatime. And you can find all available podcast links there, or subscribe on YouTube. In between podcast episodes, I also post regular short videos on IGTV on Instagram, so follow me there if you aren't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.